Check 1, 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Study Group. My name is Miguel Coronado. I'm an illustrator living in Austin, Texas. You can find my work online at www.mciii.net. Every morning at around 9 a.m. we do the Daily Study Group for about an hour, at least an hour. Sometimes we go over. I try never to be shorter than an hour. You're welcome to join us every day here at 9 a.m. on livestream.com/MCIII. You can find these videos uploaded on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike086. Anyway, if you joined me yesterday, if you're watching this in the future or listening right now, we started off yesterday with some composition studies, and then we started a photo study. So, we did a few composition studies. We did a few composition studies, and then I started a photo study. So what I'm going to do today is finish the photo study, and if I have time, do some compositional studies. But it's going to be a little might be a little quiet today. I'm just going to be working on this. That's really it. I'm going to work on this photo study, try and get it done. Anyway, you can follow along by going to cinemasquid.com. There's a menu up top, and you go to screenshots. Click on screenshots. Find whatever movie you want to work from. This still frame from the movie Sleuth stood out to me, so that's what I chose. But you can pick whatever. Anyway. Thanks for joining, and I'm going to try and keep a running dialogue while I work so you can hear my thought process. And, yeah. That's about it, really. I live in Austin, Texas, and this morning it is icy and slightly, and I stress the word slightly, snowy outside. It's 27 degrees. There's less than an inch of snow outside and lots of ice. And school is shut down. School has shut down. Why has it shut down? Because we don't know how to handle the cold in Texas. And I can guarantee you that no one knows how to drive in this weather. So they drive like it's normal weather, and then they get into an accident, and then there becomes 100 accidents on the highway. Yep, that's it. Just 100 accidents on the highway right now. Or at least there was. Last night there was like 100 or something. It's supposed to be kind of icy most of the day. I'm probably going to be staying in all day today until later tonight. Excuse me. So, what I'm doing right now is getting the basic shapes. Like, I'm blocking in his face, but I'm trying to hit all the basic shapes I see. And I'm trying to do so in like just a few strokes. And I'm kind of making judgment calls about... Oh, crap. Oh, I'm tired. I did not want to get up this morning to do the study. I was up late last night, and I just did not feel like getting up this morning to do this. But I got to, because I want to succeed. I have to do this. It's mandatory. No exceptions. One of the best parts is that I announced to everybody I'll be doing these 9 o'clock every morning. So now I have to do them at 9 o'clock every morning, or else I'll be a flake. It makes me have to get up whether I like it or not. And that also forces me to have a running dialogue while I study at 9 a.m. instead of falling asleep in the chair like I almost did. Oh, I'm on a couch actually, so. Anyway. What was I saying? Something about making judgment calls about all the strokes. I'm just trying to like find the basic stroke in every shape I see. And then I'm putting them down. And then I'm going back in with opposite colors, like light and shadow. So I'm going in with the shadows and making the basic shapes. Oh crap! I'm gonna be yawning a lot. Yeah, like lots of workplaces are canceled and school is canceled today because of the ice and snow. It's like not even an inch. But we don't know how to drive with that kind of weather here in Texas. It's kind of a big deal. This doesn't happen really ever. Anyway, so I'm going in and I'm cutting in with shadows. as big shapes, and then I'm going to back in with the skin tones that represent where the light hits, and I'm just refining those shapes. And the same thing with his face in the foreground, the background. They're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, we're just going back and forth, that's it. He just makes little adjustments, and take your time. That's really it. You just slowly try and get to that point where get to that point where it looks like Michael Caine, and not like a hideous blob and massive flesh. Just be patient and keep working. If you've never done this kind of stuff before, it's not gonna look like what you're trying to draw for a little bit, or it's not gonna look like what you're trying to paint. You just gotta just keep at it. Just take a little bit of time off. But the only thing you gotta remember is to keep working and keep your pencil moving across the pad. Keep your pencil moving across the keep your pencil moving across the paper, and keep your Wacom stylus moving across the tablet. And just don't stop moving that stylus, because if you stop moving the stylus, it means you're not working. Slowly but surely, this is going to look like Michael Caine. And then slowly but surely, it's going to look like Jude Law. Right now, the biggest obstacle against me is his head's like way too big. But I'm going to slowly cut back into that shape and shrink it. I don't really want to use the transform tool or the Liquify tool. I would totally do it if it was my own piece, but I want to do everything by hand right now. I kind of just train my hands to like go back and fix things without having to use those Photoshop tools. So if I'm drawing traditionally, I'll have the same skill that I need to like go back and fix stuff as I do with like the Photoshop tool. If you don't finish this study, I'm just going to come back to it tomorrow. So I'm going to just keep working on this photo study until everything looks correct. It doesn't need to be exact, but it needs to be like, looking correct. So like proportionally, his head needs to be smaller, and you know, things like that. It's nothing like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like it can clearly look like a digital painting still, but I just want him to look like Michael Caine. Like, I want his likeness to really be there. Right now, it's not. I think that's something that lots of people don't do when they work on, like, when you're starting out and you're working on like face, big portraits of people. It's like you start drawing someone, and then you make decisions about the face. Like typically an artist, either they make someone look better than they are, or they just don't see the flaws. Like you draw a person, but you don't actually make it look like the person you drew. It's like a vague resemblance to that person you drew, but people that know that person would never guess it was them. So that's something that I know that happens to everyone, because it happened to me. You draw people, but you don't. You do it too fast. Is what you do. You try to like draw a portrait in like under a few minutes, under an hour or something like. And you don't take the time. Just you could do it. You could do a portrait in under an hour, but like to really take the time to make sure you get all the shapes right. When you're starting out, you don't really do that. You don't take that time. You think you do, but you don't really do. What people don't realize when they're starting out is that it takes a lot longer to look at the shapes that are occurring in the face. And so if you really want to like get someone to look like someone else, get a drawing to look like someone else, then you need to actually spend time on the drawing. And then later on, as you develop, you'll be able to pull off like 20-30 minute portrait that has a resemblance to somebody. So yeah, that's something that was true to me, and it's probably true to lots of people. Anyway, so like all of Austin, Texas is like on shutdown on snow day, ice day. The schools are closed. At least they're closed until the weather gets better, because the roads are pretty icy and people really do not know how to drive out here. So it becomes this like huge deal when the snows like this. I was watching a set of videos by this artist named, what is his name? Shady Safadi. He used to work at Naughty Dog, and he goes through a process of making an environment, concept art, or just an environment design. He reproduces it from a photo, but he's not really, he's like pulling out what he calls the essence of the photo, the essence of the scene, and translating that onto his canvas. It's a really good video series. He has like 9 of them, I think. Maybe there's 8. But he has these videos and he just breaks down his entire process from beginning to end, and he goes really slowly and just like talks about everything. He doesn't go really slowly, he goes like, he takes time to really talk about everything. It's pretty nice. Anyway. Yeah, we're just going through and just cutting out shapes, is really it. We're just refining it, go back and forth, back and forth. Oh, Shady Sadafi went to like art center too, so he's got some good fundamental like background knowledge of how everything works out. And like, all those guys that went to art center have like this, not like a mystique, but like this very smart way of working, because they had to do it so much during school. Like by the time they get out, they're already like ready to go. They're just worried about, well, they don't really worry about anything. They're just doing stuff. Just get out and start working. But that place, like, supposedly is supposed to, like, work you to death. Not work you to death, but, like, it just makes you work nonstop. Anyway, some quick info bits about what I'm doing. I'm not zooming in, and I'm working at a pretty low res. I'm not at all working at a high res. So there's like some pixel space I'm lacking that I probably should upscale my image, but it kind of doesn't matter because it's all about what it looks like. So like even if it's a low res image, if it matches, it matches. That's all that matters. Like it doesn't. It's not really important. The res of the image. I don't think it's important. Some people think you need to work at high res even for like the studies and stuff. But it doesn't really make a difference. You miss out on a few things. Like basically it's the pixel space you have to work with, but if you work with an unlimited pixel space, it just trains you to just stay zoomed out like this, because at 100% there is no zoom in. Because like by the time I start zooming past 100, it just becomes digital noise. You know, like this doesn't help me because it's like it's too close. It's not a good place to be. You stay at 100%, but if you're at a high res, if you do res up, you gotta like stay at like 30% or something. Let me res it up and see. You got an image size, and just it says 800 by 700 pixels. You can make that 3000. It's a little better as far as like pixel space. So now like 3000, like I'll stay zoomed out like 28%. It gives you a better like range in terms of brush size. Like you can really up your brush size and it'll still be pretty up your brush size and it'll still be pretty small in comparison, because you know your canvas has changed. And you know what I didn't do? I never put the lessons up for this week. Damn it. Yeah. It's a little too late now. I mean, it's not too late, but like, it's too late for like this week. It's almost over. But I'll go in and I'll put up more of a lesson plan so people can kind of understand what we're doing on the day. Yeah, I should have done that, just to give some structure to the days. I have a lesson plan in my head. My lesson plan is to do composition studies. And when I felt on the verge of like being kind of burnt out with that, I would switch and do some kind of still life or photo study. And I kind of switched out. I didn't have much time to really work on this yesterday. So I felt like to just stop working on it was a waste of my time when I could keep working on it and take my time and really learn a lot from it. I'm going to be able to learn a lot more by going slowly. And that's pretty much true with any study. And right now what I'm noticing is he's got a major issue going on with his face where the angle of his whole head is slightly off. And that's kind of an issue because Now I mean I kinda gotta redraw the whole head. So, good morning, Marjorie. Is it snowy up where you are? Because everything's shut down here. Oh, are you in Houston? Yeah, there's like a layer of ice. We're in Texas, Marjorie and I. And when it snows or ices more than a centimeter, the entire city shuts down. And you don't have to go to work. But, seeing as how I'm now an illustrator when I work from home, all it means is that it looks white outside, and I still do the same thing I do normally, which is not go anywhere. And just draw. But I just want people to understand that it's a big deal. And I know people think that Texas are kind of like wusses or not. We're just getting snowed in so easily. But just remember, we don't ever have this happen. So, and there's a bunch of idiots in Texas. So, if you're wondering how this happens, it's because they're idiots in Texas and they think that ice means they can just drive the same way as they normally drive. And then they get onto an overpass on the highway, and then their car starts sliding because it's completely covered in ice, and they didn't realize that's what ice does. And rather than call into work and say, my car is sliding, I physically can't get to work, they just slide and they get in an accident, and they ruin the traffic for everyone. And that's it. And that's how it works. It's just really shitty. There's no other option. Thank you, Marjorie. Yeah, there's a ton of crashes last night, and like, it was like, my parents calling me, and they're like, "Hey, don't come home right now." And I was like, "Well, I wasn't planning on this." My girlfriend and I are house sitting, and part of house sitting is to get to live at this house. But yeah, my parents, they work in Austin, and they live in a town called Georgetown, which is my hometown. And I mean, I live there too. Well, not for long, but I live there, and it's about a 30-minute drive to Georgetown from Austin, and there's a bunch of idiots on the road in that 30-minute session of time. Anyway. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and use the Liquify tool to adjust his face a little bit, because I've noticed some major issues with his head. And so, I mean, I said I don't normally don't use these tools because I want to just kind of train my hand to get the positions right. But for me at this point, I've made so much progress, I really have to just start over and redo the head. In fact, yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to start over. I feel like it's more beneficial for me to do it and force myself to just learn that way than have to use that Liquify tool. I just feel like I'm going to adjust it. It's going to look better, obviously, but I just feel like it's better for me to manually come in here and adjust the way any other person would if they were doing a study in paint. It's part of that, like, it teaches you not to make the mistake again because you gotta go back and fix your work up. Yeah, so if you're wondering why I'm doing this, just kind of going back over, you're going to see me kind of repaint some stuff, and it's for the study, I just don't feel it's going to be as beneficial for me to just it's just not going to be as beneficial for me to use that Liquify tool right now. I mean, at any other time I would do it, but just right now with the study, it's better to just come in here and make myself redo the eye. And that way I could tell myself, well, that kind of sucked, I had to redo the eye. I don't want to do that again. And then I'll kind of have taught myself a lesson by making myself redo work I had already kind of done. Trying to really reshape it a bit. And I've never seen this movie before, but I like the colors in it, so that's why I chose it. I like the colors in it. I like the positions of the head. They're kind of a awkward position to draw because if you don't nail the nose exactly right, they look like pig people. And Michael Caine has lots of wrinkles, like in a good way, and then Jude Law doesn't. So there's like a variety in the faces that are involved in the picture. Colors. It's a good amount of contrast. It's like a dramatic lighting. I happen to like dramatic lighting for illustrations. So, with all those things combined, it's just easier. So what I noticed was mainly the eye position. Let me go up here and show you everyone. The eye position is like got this slightly, because he's tilting his head to look at something. The eye position is like got a slant to it. If you isolate the bottom of the eyes, and then mine it didn't. It was more of like it's more static. So I gotta lower this eye, lower this one. This one's okay. Or it could be lowered just a little bit, I feel like. And overall his head's still a lot bigger than it should be. So right now I can see that his head's only that big. So if I actually extend the lines down, we'll see what's going on here. So see how that works. So I just visually I already kind of saw this going on. I knew his head was off and it looked too big. Oh crap. Anyway, because I know his head's off and it looks a little too big, it means that if I'm basing other positions of items in this picture off his head, it means everything's off. So because his head's off, it means the distance between the head and this thing is not right. And then the distance between him and Jude Law is not right. Because I was using their shapes as my measuring points. So now Jude Law's character is like, he's up here on the top frame, but below, he's off. by like a good amount. So I need to like reposition. Let's just do this the right way, I feel like. Let's just do this the Photoshop way. So I noticed the issue. I'm going to address it. And I am going to use some Photoshop tools, which, you know, I'm kind of against for studies just because, like I said before, it takes away this element that it just takes away a little bit of what you're learning. I feel like if I were to just repaint his head and go, oh, I gotta move his head over, it would suck. But I would know that next time I know I need to just not. I know I just need to not do that again. You know, I gotta like get it right the first time. So. Anyway. So the issue is just that I'm still gonna have to go in and patch it up, so it's not too bad. But seeing the issue in the relationships helps a lot. Yeah. Now, because he's moved, everything needs to be shifted just slightly. And those guides are just me. That's like my thought process, like what I was seeing. That's why earlier I said, uh-oh, like I just noticed this terrible mistake in my image. Now that I've kind of addressed it, we can start patching things up. See how the shoulder slopes down like that? And it goes almost to the edge, so I gotta kind of keep that in there. Just a little closer. His head's not as, his head's not as tall as it is up there either. So we gotta shorten that a little bit. And the marker I'm using is his mouth. His mouth is, in this photo up here, is just above that line. So I know the line is slightly off from where I need it to be, so I feel like this is a good position here. And I know that this line here is off, so I'm going to adjust this line to the correct position so it'll look more correct on with what I just did. Anyway, that Shady Sadafi YouTube channel is really good. Okay, that's about closer. It's a little off still, actually. Just like just make the patches you need to make. See, one of the reasons I wanted to make the changes I did is because of those shady Gaddafi videos, where he's just like, it's fucking Photoshop. Just change it. Just use the tools in Photoshop. Don't try and be a purist. Just, you're working in Photoshop, so use Photoshop. So that's one of the reasons I made a decision to use the transform tool. But I still do feel like there's a benefit to not using those tools while you're doing a study. A major benefit, because it just makes you go slower and not mess up as much. Because you can think about, like, oh, if I mess up, I gotta go erase it and do it over again. Anyway. So, we'll really think about this in terms of using it with Photoshop and not using it with Photoshop. But one of the things that Shady talks about, Shady Gaddafi or Shady Gaddafi? I think it's Shady Gaddafi. No, I'm Shady. I think it's Shady. One of the things he keeps talking about is just making sure you capture the shape correctly. Capture the shape correctly and just nail the shape for everything. Nail the basic shape, or as he calls it, the essence of the shape. And make decisions, you know, like, don't try and match it exactly, because it's not the point of illustrating. Okay, so I've made a major change to one of the main characters here. So I kind of have to extend this bookcase out. Because now that I've made this adjustment, everything's off. And by everything I mean, like, see how high the bookcase comes? It points to his ear, to his mouth, and mine doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna redo the bookcase. I'll just redo it later. Now that I've kind of made Michael Caine my anchor point in the image, like, if he's correctly positioned somewhat, then everything else will be correctly positioned. I'm just going to redraw the bookcase later. We'll take our time and redo it later. We're not rushing, we're trying to study, so we're not going to be afraid to make these changes. Yeah, his head is a bit low. Yeah, I think the whole body needs to move up, actually. I need to, like, move the entire body up. No, actually. Let me see. I'll finish erasing this and I'll make those changes. Wow, what is with that? Okay, I'll use a better brush here. So Jude Law's character is, like, completely off right now, so we're not going to really think about that character. We're going to only think about Michael Caine's character. Okay, so what I've done is erased out a lot of the background because we're going to kind of start over and use a new anchor point, which is Michael Caine's character. And something is definitely off. I gotta put my finger on it. Because this shoulder is almost correct, like in terms of like the position of this little thing in the background and his shoulder. It's like if I use my brush as a measuring tool. Here's the size of it. We go up here, so there's a little bit of a gap. That line is a little higher, right? That's correct. Which means the relationship of the ear to that line is almost correct. But the relationship of his head to the ceiling is completely off. Because that's like this big. You can see you can see the mouse cursor, so it's like that big. But up here it only goes to like half that. So how are we going to get that same shape relationship with the line to the shoulder and to this ear as the head to the top? Like what are we going to do? Because if we scale it up, it's going to change everything over here. We'll just try it out and see. We're going to start discovering what's off and what's correct. Okay. So let's scale up uniformly. Let me do that. Let me undo that. Let me make sure I actually crap. I gotta actually merge the layers. There we go. Now let me try that again. Let me scale up uniformly. I think that was it. I think that's the only... I feel like that's a lot closer. It's a little off still though. Maybe it's just a matter of up and down. Hello, Maurice. Good morning. There we go. It's a little closer. I think I know what's going on too. There's a... Oops, not skew. Well, skew might work. Yeah, skew will be working fine. So basically what I'm trying to do is put this as his character's got this lean. He's like leaning back, looking up. I just want to try and get that in the posture that I didn't get that in the initial blocking in. So I want to kind of get that now and then I'm adjusting it. Okay, let's try that. I gotta go in and patch everything up now. Yeah, the next few days we're going to kind of hash this out. And, I'll probably do some more composition studies on the weekend. But, oh, remember too, if anyone's joining me at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, on the weekends, I'm not going to wake up that early. I'm just going to sleep in a bit. And that's only for the weekdays. So on the weekends, it's going to be more erratic. I really don't think I have a time set yet for when I'll be doing the study stream. It'll still happen. It'll just be a random part of the day. I just don't know when yet. If I set the schedule for the weekend, then it means I have to do it on that time. And right now, I feel like I kind of want to be able to do it as I will, like as I want to. So if I set a time, it's not going to work out, because if I go to, like, tonight and going to a party, one of my friend's birthdays is coming up tonight, so I'll probably be out late, so I'm probably not going to wake up to do the study stream at 9 a.m. But if I say something like 11 a.m., then I kind of get stuck on having to do it 11 a.m. every day. So the weekend stream will be just like, it'll be more of a random stream. It'll probably be in the midday at some point, just midday when I wake up, and like when I have like breakfast or something, and it's more relaxed. Should be more relaxed, and it'll be midday. That's really it. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, hello everybody, we're doing a photo study, and we're kind of just knocking bits of this out each day. Spend an hour a day just working on it. And just really paying attention to the shape relationships of the characters and the elements in the photo, so that it looks as close as we can to the photo for the finished image when we're done. Go eat breakfast. Sorry, I got real quiet. I'm just trying to, like, make judgment calls and where things are going. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm tired. Actually, I'm about to get off the stream too, because it's almost going to be an hour. And I am really tired. So I'm going to go back to bed for a little bit and then get back up and work. I was up late. But I got lots of work done, so it's good. Okay. So, we made some major adjustments. We're kind of fixing things today. If I go back up to the original file from yesterday, you can see where we progressed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mm. Okay. Wow. Okay. Um. Um. Let me just see how much I saved, because I just like ruined all the work I did. Yeah, nothing. Mm. Oh man. Oh, that's rough. Okay. Oh. Well. Okay. So here's a pro tip. Oh my god. Okay. Here's the tip. If you're going to go back in history to look at an older version of the file, and you click the top of the original version of the file, and if you do anything from this point, like if I select all right now, it erases the entire history and replaces it with the one action you just did. And if I deselect and I go back, there's no more steps. I can't do it. I can't. History's gone. So, okay. Well, it's it's almost close to an hour. It's it's almost been an hour of work, and I have nothing to show for it. Oh my god. Yeah, it's been an hour. That burns. Oh, okay. Let me try and make up for that real quick. I gotta make up for that hour of work I just did that I lost through my own stupid actions. Nothing to do with my computer. Well, if you're watching or listening along, I just lost all my progress that I made this morning in my study through my own unassuming actions. I accidentally erased everything I did on my history when I was trying to show all y'all the progress I had made, and showing you like that even though it seemed like I was going really slow, I had made a lot of progress. So I went back on the history So watch here, so see all the brush tool, if you look in the history panel, see all those brush tool actions that just happened right now. So what I did, and I'm going to say this again because I want to warn everyone, because I didn't realize it would do this, is I clicked up here, and I was like, so here's the original file. What I should have done was click down here and said, here's what I'd done. And I should have gone back up and clicked here. I said, here's the original, like what it looked like this morning. But instead of clicking back down here and showing you all the progress I made, I went back up here, clicked on the PhotoStudy, and I did something you shouldn't do, which is I selected all. And you see what happened just now? My entire history was erased. And see, if I do undo, it comes back. But what I did was I said select canvas, select all, select canvas. And then if you deselect, and now if I go back, my history is gone. See how I just erased all my history, and now I can't go back to what I did? So, anyway, I just did that. So what I will do now is try and compensate in the last minute of my study here and recoup something of what I've lost through those terrible actions of mine. It's no big deal, people, it's just a study. But it's just kind of funny that I just did that in front of everyone on live stream. So later on YouTube, if you're watching that, I just erased all my history and thus also erased all the progress I made. Anyway, but we made some critical decisions. I made critical decisions very slowly, so let's go back and redo it now. What were the decisions I made? I decided to resize Michael Caine entirely. So the main issue right now is that his head is too wide, and it's mainly too wide on this side right here. So I'm going to go back in and fix it real quick. Now the easy part, because I erased my history, because I just went through that whole thought process of trying to fix everything, that I've already thought about everything, so it's just me doing the actions now. So with that said, it's very easy for me to come in here and just, like, I know his head size was off, and his relationship, like, let's see here. His head size should be like that, about. His head should be a little taller. In fact, his head's so high that you see the gap's like very tiny. So his head should be like up here. So Marty's gonna come back and be like, oh, what happened? I'll be like, ah, I erased all my stuff. Okay. Now remember, we took out all this in the background because I was gonna reposition Michael Caine and then format everything based on his position. So let's do that same thing we did before. Reposition Michael Caine. Everything should be formatted to fit him, including the Jude Law character. So let's go ahead and make that decision to redo him later. Okay, so can't sort the small stuff. The good thing is that I learned that lesson through a study and not through me accidentally erasing all my work, my actual work, which is great. It's really good. You try Control Z, see if you go back. Well, no, it was just like gone. All the steps were just gone. Because I was doing Control Z the whole time. Or like I did Control Z to try it, but like I quickly realized it was already gone. It's too late. It's just too late. All I can tell you is that through that mistake, you've all learned not to do that. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. But also, like, whatever, it's a study. I mean, like, I could just stop doing it and I could just stop doing it and just do something different. But I kind of wanted to work on this for a few days, and so I'm just going to make up. I'm going to kind of fix up everything to a good starting point for tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to finish Michael Caine's character, and then I'm going to begin building off. Yeah. I hit two extra. I did select all, and then I was like, uh-oh, my history got erased, so I said deselect. And because I hit deselect and select all, it gave me 2 steps. Also, thereby erasing everything I had done. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny because it's not work. That's why it's funny. But in the end, too, like everything I'm doing is like me warming up right now. This really isn't me like working at my normal speed, and I was going really slowly and stuff. Anyway. It's no biggie. Just don't do that on your actual work if you're actually working on something. Because then, because then you lose all your work. That's why. His head is not in the right position at all, so I did the lasso tool last time to like fix his features, but I really don't want to do that. Or like, I'd rather just draw everything in correctly the first time. Okay. Where's my brush? Here we go. So we're just going to go in here and block in some of the base features. I did this yesterday, but kind of redoing it just because it just wasn't. They weren't looking right. They weren't looking correct. There's more of a turn he's got in his head, and the bodies are kind of leaning back a bit. I guess the one thing you gotta realize too when something like that happens, whenever like you just either lose a file or just like accidentally erase all your progress and there's no way to recover it, you just gotta remember that like there's no reason to get mad over it. I mean, like, if it was really important and you actually had to keep working on it, you don't really have time to get mad. If it was actually like a work file, it would be like, oh shit, I guess I better start working double time. Because, you know, there's just no time to sit there and be stewing over it. Like, if you really cared about doing it, you would like go, oh, well, erase my file. Gotta go back and fix it. And you would just do it. But, I guess if a file got corrupted after a few days of work, it'd be a little more frustrating, but one thing you should remember too is that like if it got corrupted after a few days of work, you should I don't know what I'm trying to say with that. All I can tell you is that, like, it might be a sign to go take a break real quick and just, like, take a walk and cool off. Because you might, depending on how you react to that, you might be pretty pissed off that you erased all your work. And you can feel really stupid. Like I said, this was a study, so it didn't matter. It didn't matter because I still was getting the information from the study. Like, I was still learning. So actually losing the work didn't matter. I'm not going to, like, post the work as if it's my finished product. But just seeing the progress and trying to show it and losing all that, kind of was like, oh, well, guess I'm not going to be able to show you that. But it kind of doesn't matter because I'm just going to redo the study now. Just got to redo the study because the only detriment is that I couldn't show you the progress the way I wanted to show you the progress. So what I gotta do is gotta do this, and then I gotta go back here and do this. Select all, copy, paste. Okay. And then I got this new document I opened that I saved that image on. Paste. There we go. So now I got two layers that are you see the changes occurring. So this is what I wanted to show you. I just wanted to show you the changes I had made. But in reality too, like I've actually almost gotten back to where I was because I was going to redo his whole face anyway. So I was able to quickly speed through everything because I kind of, was like been there, done that already. It's no big deal to come back in and make those changes. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually about where I was. This is almost exactly where I was, but I did it in like literally 2 minutes because the face wasn't really blocked out. Like, there were some features that were cut out more so than others, but what y'all didn't know is I was already going to go back in and change all the features because I could tell they were off by a lot. And because they're so off, it's just like, it's just the way I'm trying to do this is I really want the study to kind of match up. Okay. Ideally what will happen is if like Marjorie went and got her breakfast and she comes back, she'll not think that anything happened. That'll be the real thing. That's the real test. If she was like, oh yeah, you just progressed some more, that'll be like the calling sign that like I fixed it right. It needs to be more Michael Caine. It's a terrible act. That's a terrible impersonation. Needs to be more Michael Caine. Okay, we're just trying to match those shapes. Match those shapes. That's the main thing we're doing. And his cheek has like this. Comes out here, and his ear is like. The bottom of his ear is in line with his mouth. Okay, that was like a speed paint Michael Caine redux. His mouth position right now he looks like a terrifying Muppet right now. Just like a terrifying fake human being. Marjorie, you're back. Can you tell the progress I've made? Can you see what I've done? Can you see major changes that have occurred? I've started to rework the face. You had cinnamon rolls. Nice. You can see. Nice. Awesome. So what you didn't see, Marjorie, let me save the damn file, is that I accidentally erased all my work and I had to start over. You didn't see me erase it completely. Go back to ground zero. Your entire breakfast was me fixing my study. So like I went up here to the history, and I wanted to show everyone my progress. So I clicked back here, and I was like, this is where it started. And then I was going to save a copy of this onto the file. So what I did was I did select all. I'm going to do it right now. Select all and see how it erased my entire history. But instead, I could have done undo, and it would have gone back. But I did select all, and then I did deselect. So now, it doesn't let me go back. It erases my whole history. See how that works? So in this case, I'm closing this. Don't save. In this case, I saved it right before I did that, so I have my progress. But anyway, just in case you didn't know, that if you were to go back a step and try and save an old version to like show kind of like as a step-by-step, you could possibly erase all your work. Anyway, but now I did it correctly. So here's the before, see after, before, after. And I went ahead and erased Jude Law's character because I'm going to reposition him anyway. So yeah, anyway. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm going to get off the stream now because I got to do some work. You know that feel of really, the main feeling I had was just laughing and feeling stupid because I can't believe I did that. And on the live stream. So anyone that's done that before, that's watching this in the future, if you're watching this in the future and you've done that same mistake, you're just gonna watch me slowly make that mistake in front of your own eyes and see me erase all my work. But I'll put this stuff on YouTube. Thank you for watching. I will be online later doing actual work. This is what I'm working on here. This poster image. There's another thing for vampires. So I'll have some music on and I'll work on this later on today. So, yeah. It's my girlfriend in costume. It's not her real hair. It's a wig. Anyway. Okay. I'm gonna turn on some music, put on some outro music, and get going with this uploading. Where's this thing? Cool. Okay. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. CJ should be online later today. So look at CJ Marsh, you'll be online later. And I'll be online this weekend, but I'll probably during the midday, not in the morning. Cool. Have a good Friday. Don't drive if you're in Texas or a place where it's really snowy and icy.